Jaws 2 is directed by Jeanette Schwartz. This film is an adventure horror thriller. The film stars Roy Scheider as Martin Brody, Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody, Murray Hamilton as Mayor Larry Vaughn, and Jeffrey Kramer as Deputy Jeff Hendricks. This film is stated as being more of a horror movie than the first Jaws, which was more of an action-adventure thriller type film. Jaws 2 is rated PG for adult situations, language, blood, and violence. The movie has a runtime of 1 hour and 56 minutes. Jaws 2 was released in theaters in the United States on Friday, June 16, 1978. So 4 years after the shark attacks that took place at Amity Island, Chief of Police Martin Brody is now enjoying life there with his family, his wife Ellen, and their 2 sons, Michael and Sean. Soon, Brody responds to several calls, one of which involves missing divers. The other involves a mom and daughter who die in a fiery explosion while water skiing. Martin begins to see a pattern, and one he's all too familiar with from the events that took place 4 years earlier. The next day, his son Michael and a group of his friends go sailing, and they end up at an island off the main island where there's an old lighthouse, and they just chill out there for a little while. They discover a dead, beached orca killer whale with huge bite marks taken out of it. Brody and a shark expert show up and see the animal, and they take measurements of it and the bite marks. Chief Brody tells the shark expert that he thinks a great white shark is responsible for the death of the killer whale. The shark expert isn't sure it was a great white that did that, but Brody knows in his heart that is what it was, and he orders his son Michael to come back home with him. Later on, his dive team recovers an underwater camera from the missing divers, and they take it to have the film developed. Meanwhile, Brody goes to tell Mayor Larry Vaughn that there's another shark preying on the people of Amity Island, but Larry Vaughn refuses to believe it. The next day, Martin tells his oldest son Michael he has a job for him down at the beach in order to keep him safe and out of the water. His youngest son Sean decides to tag along with Michael and help on the beach, and Brody mans his shark watchtower on the beach. While he's on his watchtower, he thinks he sees something and assumes it is the shark coming towards people in the water and orders everybody out of the water. He comes down and takes out his gun, waving it in every which direction, telling people to get back and get out of the water, causing a panic on the beach, and starts shooting at what turns out to be a school of bluefish and not the shark. Later on that night, Brody gets a phone call from the film developer and sees a photo he's developing that shows the shark. He goes to the town hall where the city council is having a meeting and shows them the photo, and they all refuse to believe what the photo is showing them, and the members of the town council end up firing Chief Brody for what happened on the beach earlier that afternoon. The next morning, Michael and Sean go out sailing with their group of friends, and they all end up getting attacked by the shark. Martin and Ellen find out both of their sons are out there and go after them. They end up rescuing a teenage girl who was with them, who is now in shock after witnessing her boyfriend get killed by the shark. Martin takes the police boat to rescue the rest of the kids who are sailing and ends up in another one-on-one final showdown with the shark. Okay, so that's the film synopsis. Here are my negatives. I thought that some of the shots of the people on the beach were inappropriate. I mean, like they take very close-up shots of people's butts. Who wants to see that? I don't. That was just totally inappropriate, totally unnecessary. Some of the deleted scenes that they show in the special features of the Jaws 2 DVD would have made some of the scenes and sequences a lot better and made them kind of expand on what was going on in those scenes as well. The hangout spot in the town of Amity for the teenagers was a bar that serves alcohol. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, what bar allows teenage kids in it unless there's like a restaurant in it or something? They should have had another place in town where the kids hang out and not a full-blown bar like what was shown in this film. They really did a good job with Martin Brody's paranoia, but I thought he should have been more paranoid than what it showed in the film. Not quite over the top, but just pushing it a little bit more. But what he did was good. I just thought maybe it could have been pushed just a little bit further. All the kids, except for 2, and all the minor characters have no character or character development. They're just two-dimensional throwaway characters, and they're really very irritating. So my positives for the film: the characters of Police Chief Martin Brody, once again played by Roy Scheider, Ellen Brody, played by Lorraine Gary, Mayor Larry Vaughn, played by Murray Hamilton, Jeffrey Kramer as Deputy Jeff Hendricks, and Andy, played by Andy Springer, and Mark Gilpin, who played Sean, are the best characters in the film, and their acting is top-notch. The cinematography in the film is very well done, as well as the underwater shots. I like the look of this film because it has a lot of the same look as the first Jaws film. The practical effects are very top-notch with the mechanical shark and everything else. Like I said in the previous Jaws movie review, digital technology and CGI weren't around, so everything had to be done practically. And I like practical effects because it makes the film that more authentic. The story is pretty good. It's not as good as the first film, but it's better than the story in Jaws 3 and the story of Jaws 4. The music by John Williams is just as superb as the first film, and he builds on that music from the first film, and he gives us some new adventure tracks in this film. Okay, so now it's grading time. For Jaws 2, I'm going to give it a solid B. So Jaws 2 is a good sequel. There are things that could have been done better or things that could have been left out, but overall, it's an enjoyable film. I don't think it gets the credit that it deserves because they tried to expand on the story and these characters, and they did a far better job than what was done in 3 and 4. And they tried to get it as close to the original as possible. I mean, you're never going to have the success that the original had, but for what it was and the story they had to tell, I thought it was good enough. So Jaws 2 is worth the watch. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give me some comments, and I love you all. God bless you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
But I'm telling you, and I'm telling everybody at this table, that that's a shark. And I know what a shark looks like because I've seen one up close. And you better do something about this one, because I don't intend to go through that hell again.